everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
This morning, former President Barack Obama breaking his silence after President Trump's blatantly racist post earlier this month depicting him and the former First Lady Michelle Obama as apes.
I think it's important to recognize that the majority of the American people find this behavior deeply troubling.
Obama over the weekend calling the Trump administration shameless, saying they don't respect the presidency.
There's this sort of clown show that's happening in social media and on television, and what is true is that there doesn't seem to be any shame about this among people who used to feel like you had to have some sort of decorum and a sense of propriety and respect for the office, right? So that's been lost.
Obama's reaction coming more than a week after both Republicans and Democrats condemned that post. The White House initially defended it, calling it fake outrage. But the criticism only grew. Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, the Senate's only black Republican, calling the president's post the most racist thing I've seen out of this White House. Senator Roger Wicker of Mississippi writing, "This is totally unacceptable." The president later deleted the post 12 hours later. The administration later telling ABC News a White House staffer erroneously made the post. And then on Thursday, a week after that video was posted, President Trump telling reporters he had not disciplined the staffer. And despite lawmakers on both sides calling on the president to apologize, the president refusing.
No, I didn't make a mistake.
So Obama says this is all a distraction. He said that both he and the former First Lady still travel the country and that they still believe in kindness, decency, and courtesy.
Again, yes, this is a distraction of what's really going on. The Epstein files, again, everything that happens is for a reason. They're throwing us off. Even that's why Obama didn't immediately respond to this, because if you respond to something like this, it's just going to keep on creating a narrative and it'll stop what's really important. I think the most important thing that Obama was talking about was, or that anybody was talking about at the time, was the Epstein files. But this racist tweet took over liberal media, and I really thought that was dumb as hell. Like, why would y'all take y'all focus off of the Epstein files to speak about a stupid tweet? Like, that tweet held no weight. Again, it was only brought back up a few days ago because Obama spoke up on it, and I was supposed to do this a few days ago, but here we are today talking about it. Oh well. And again, it was a terrible mistake. That just goes to show that Donald Trump doesn't really pay attention to what he actually posts, and we know this. But that's just the things that he posts as a video. That was also done by somebody else. We don't know if he screen recorded that himself or somebody sent it to him from a screen recording. But what I do know is the other vile things that he posts is just as bad. I mean, when people, the things he says about people when they pass, when they die, it's like, but that comes from the president. So we can't be shocked when he retweets something and then says it's from the Lion King. No, it wasn't from the Lion King. The song was from the Lion King. The video was created by somebody. So let's not say it was just from the Lion King. It wasn't from the Lion King.
There's this sort of clown show that's happening in social media and on television. There doesn't seem to be any shame about this among people who used to feel like you had to have some sort of decorum and a sense of propriety and respect for the office, right? So that's been lost. There's this.
The 44th president, Barack Obama, on what he believes the 45th and 47th president, that would be Donald Trump, of course, has done to the dignity of that office. The comments are the first that Obama has made since President Trump reposted a video of him and the former First Lady as dancing apes. Here's Weijia Zhang.
Former President Obama has broken his silence nearly 2 weeks after President Trump posted a video that included an animation of the Obamas' faces transposed onto the bodies of dancing cartoon apes.
The majority of the American people find this behavior deeply troubling.
On a weekend podcast, he said those in the White House appear less disturbed.
There doesn't seem to be any shame about this among people who used to feel like you had to have some sort of decorum and a sense of propriety and respect for the office, right? So that's been lost.
The administration's initial response to the racist post came from Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, who said, "Please stop the fake outrage." But after a flurry of Republican leaders spoke out against the post, the White House blamed a staffer and removed it.
Have you fired or disciplined that staffer who posted the video from your account that included the Obamas?
No, I haven't. That was a video on, as you know, voter fraud. And fairly long video, and they had a little piece and had to do with the Lion King.
In a town hall that aired Sunday on CBS, Maryland Governor Wes Moore also spoke about the video and addressed whether he believes Trump is a racist.
I think the question of is he a racist should be posed to him, but frankly, I think his actions probably give the answer before he even has a chance to answer it himself.
In a new statement tonight, the White House accuses Governor Moore of trying to incite division with those comments and says no one has done more for the black community than Trump. Tony.
Weijia, while we have you, leaving that subject but sticking with President Obama and this podcast, he also said on that podcast that aliens are real. Do tell us more.
When I was president of the United States, I suppose I could have simply unilaterally ordered the military to, go into some red state and harass and intimidate a governor there, or cut off funding for states that didn't vote for me. I could have exercised that prerogative, but that is contrary to how I think our democracy is supposed to work. And I think we shouldn't get discouraged by the fact that we have a tougher job. What we should do is expect that our side is smart enough to figure it out. When I was
President Obama is the last president that we had that could speak in complete sentences. What the hell?
Have you fired or disciplined that staffer who posted the video from your account that included the Obamas?
No, I haven't. That was a video on, as you know, voter fraud. And fairly long video, and they had a little piece and had to do with the Lion King. It's been very well, it's been shown all over the place long before that was posted. But that was a very strong, and I'm sure you saw it, a very strong piece on voter fraud. And the piece that you're talking about was all over the place many times, I believe for years. Yeah, please.
But just because it had already been out, it wasn't right then. It didn't make it right later. And today, it's still not right. But because it came across your social media feed is the problem, sir. That's the problem. It's not where the video was played. Who made the video? Well, it is where the video was played on your social media. That is the problem. That shouldn't have happened. Your social media is supposed to be better than that. The people, and the fact that you haven't fired a person who put that video out just goes to show that like let's just say it was a porn clip at the end of that video. Let's just say it was a porn clip. Let's not even say that it was a video of Obama as a monkey. If it was a porn clip, then what? We will be calling you a whore? A horny toad? Would this further implicate you on not being able to control your sexual desires and would have you on the Epstein's list for real. That's what I'm saying. It just doesn't. It's only because it was shared by your platform, sir. It just don't make no sense. It doesn't matter. The staffer's name is Donald. You know what I'm saying? That's his initials is DT. That's who shared it. And they just don't want to tell y'all the person who shared it. His initials is DT. That's been exposed.
What's your reaction to that video?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where either because the time zone changed or because we were so busy, the controversy had started and then died out by the time I even paid attention to it. You know, the president said a staffer posted a video. He hadn't even watched the whole thing. When he watched the whole thing, he took it down. It's not a real controversy. We have much more real problems to focus on.
Should he apologize for that, sir?
Should he apologize for posting a video and then taking it down? No, I don't think so. I think people post things on social media, and if you post something you don't like it, you can just take it down, and that's what
he said. It was a really good video. How did Donald Trump know it was a really good video? He said he never watched the entire video. So if you never watched the entire video, how do you know that it's a good video on voter fraud? You just watch the first 5 seconds. This seems like it's talking about voter fraud. Let's put it out there. We don't care what's it. Voter fraud, put it out there. Yeah, come on, man. Y'all got to do better than that. The excuses.
If you haven't seen Trump's so-called tribute to Jesse Jackson, please spare yourself. It is a 200-plus word rant on social media, and while Trump is friendlier to Jackson in it than he normally is to Democratic politicians, it's not what you would want in a tribute. It doesn't go on about how Jackson was a tireless advocate for civil rights, how he was a job creator who fought for economic justice, how he helped feed hungry kids, or about how he made history as the first black candidate to win major primaries in a presidential election primary and was, in fact, in second place in the 1988 Democratic presidential primary race. No, that is not what Trump talks about. What Trump talks about is himself. Surprise, surprise. Trump claims credit for Jackson's success because he says that he's responsible for renting office space to Jackson's Rainbow Coalition. The idea that Trump would suggest that his skills as a landlord are responsible for a civil rights advocate is especially cruelly ironic, given that Trump was caught by the feds committing racial housing discrimination. He and his father refused to rent apartments to people of color, and in fact would mark their applications with a C to denote that they were people of color not to be rented to. I personally interviewed a woman who was denied an apartment in a Trump building, told that there were no vacancies, when then that very apartment was offered to a white applicant of similar financial status. This is Mae Wiggins. She actually participated in a sting that helped catch Trump in this housing discrimination scheme. So, yeah, Trump also used his tribute to Jesse Jackson to again attack Barack Obama. We have a president who, even when he is trying to honor another person and honor his legacy, is simply incapable of honoring anyone other than himself.
Yeah, so Obama, they put out a press release. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but just his tweet alone says, Michelle and I are deeply saddened to hear about the passing of a true giant, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. We will always be grateful for Jesse's lifetime of service and the friendship our families share. We stood on his shoulders. We send our deepest condolences to the Jackson family and everyone in Chicago and beyond who knew and loved him. That was that was Barack. Now, let me see here. Now let's see what Trump said. I'm gonna read. Trump said, the Reverend Jesse Jackson is dead at 84. I knew him well long before becoming president. He was a good man with lots of personality, grit, and street smarts. He was very gregarious, someone who truly loved people, despite the fact that I'm falsely and consistently called a racist by the scoundrels and lunatics of the radical left, Democrats all. It was always my pleasure to help Jesse along the way. I provided office space for him and his Rainbow Coalition for years. In the Trump building at 40 Wall Street, responded to his request for help in getting criminal justice reform passed and signed when no other president would even try. Single-handedly pushed and passed long-term funding for historically black colleges and universities, which Jesse loved, but also which other presidents would not do. Responded to Jesse's support for opportunity zones, the single most successful economic development package yet approved for black business men and women, and much more. Jesse was a force of nature like few others before him. He had much to do with the election without acknowledgement or credit of Barack Hussein Obama, a man who Jesse could not stand. He loved his family greatly, and to them I send my deepest sympathies and condolences. Jesse will be missed. This is hilarious.
Trump just said Jesse Jackson did not like Barack Hussein Obama, trying to start more shit between people, and basically saying my condolences to Jesse Jackson and his family, but Jesse did not like Barack Obama. Now, this is some bullshit he's trying to kick off. Jesse get attention and away from Epstein, so don't go for it. Truth is, yeah, Jesse did have some issues with Obama, but we all did, and Obama had issues with Jesse, and they did, but it wasn't a major thing. It wasn't a thing that was outed like that. So basically, he's trying to kick off any controversy to ignore Epstein, and we ain't gonna let him. Stick to the survivors, stick on spreading word about the Epstein list, and when you ain't doing that, spread word about the ICE atrocities.
Facts.